My answer is different now than it would have been 5 years ago. I think now there's an economic issue that has to be addressed. Law school is not cheap anymore. It's very expensive. And the job market, because maybe a recession or changing in how we resolve disputes, is law jobs are tougher to get. South Dakota may be bucking the trend because I see it kind of opening up in South Dakota, but nationally it's not very good. Something like half of our law school graduates fail to find full-time jobs that are legal jobs. I would tell them, don't go into it because you think you're going to get rich. You won't. Quite frankly, the people in my class that have done the best financially are the people that, while they have a law degree, they maybe have a Taco John's franchise or something like that, or they were real estate developers or bankers. You make a living at being a lawyer, but very few of them become wealthy. So I guess I would just sum it up by saying, if you're interested in problem solving and it looks attractive to you, fine, but it is not the glamorous occupation you see on TV.
I would encourage a college student to consider a career. Well, I guess I would go back and I'd say consider going to law school. Because even if you decide that you don't want to become a practicing lawyer, a law school education is an excellent asset to have in almost every walk of life. Even some doctors have law degrees because it aids them in the particular kind of field and work that they're doing. But if you want to go into government, into politics, into many other walks of life, business, having a law degree is a very helpful thing to have in your toolbox.
Well, it depends on what your ultimate goal is. You know, some people would say that there are too many lawyers in the world and we don't need any more lawyers. But the thing about getting a law education is that you don't just have to practice law. There are many things you can do with it. You can do business things. There's just a wide variety of things to do. And the other thing about it is if you want meaningful work that's worthwhile to do, practicing law is that. If you want to sit in a cubicle and or go to a factory and do repetitive work, you can do that too, and that's worthwhile and honorable. But when you're in the legal profession, you're in a helping profession, and you're dealing with people at their most vulnerable when they are in need of someone to help them sort out thorny issues, and it's satisfying to do that, and you're making the world a better place.
Well, I have given this advice. They need to be able to have language skills, and they need to do that by writing. They need to do that by reading, and that's so important. And that will give them the basis for a lot of things. And of course, being able to think through problems. So you want to take courses like that. But whatever they take, they just need to do the best they can in that. And that, I think, for any young person, no matter what profession you're going into, you give it your best. Even if you're not real crazy about it, you work at it, because that's the whole that's the whole name of the game. If you decide to become a welder, you still need to work hard at that. And the fact that you can write and read and do those things is going to help you no matter what. But for high school, you do the best you can and take a wide variety of courses. I think that's the important part there. Once you get into college, it might be a little different. Well, again, I think command of the English language is very, very important. You need to be able to read a lot of material. I was lucky because I had come out of the English literature background and was accustomed to reading volumes of material. I don't know if they still make them do that today, but we did. I mean, we read novels, we read all kinds of short stories, essays, all kinds of things like that. So I was accustomed to being able to read a large volume of material in a short period of time and understand what I've read, which takes training also through your educational process. So whatever they can do, I think, to take those courses and expand that part of their learning and abilities, I think is going to help them, because as you well know, you get into law school, you have to be able to read a lot of material in a short period of time and comprehend what it is, and be able to pick out, eventually be able to pick out what's important in that piece that you read, the case or whatever it is you're reading. So whatever they can do to pursue that and learn how to do that and hone their skills, I think that's the important thing to do. Writing, I think being able to communicate your thoughts orally and in writing, depending upon which part of the law you get into. Some legal areas are going to take a lot of writing skills. When you're writing contracts, you're writing briefs, you're writing whatever it might be. Others may take a great deal of skill and ability in verbally being able to express yourself. But in the bottom line, you're trying to advocate for a position, and whatever it helps you to take or to learn how to do that and to figure out how to advocate for a position or a person, the better off you are. I'm a real advocate too of the humanities. You need to know about people. You need to understand what makes people work, what makes society work. I think all those things, when you go practice law, are going to help you. And on the bench, they're invaluable because you understand people. You at least figure out what makes them tick. You have to make decisions on people's lives, and you need to be interested in that if you're going to be a judge.
I think there's probably more people at that age thinking of doing that now than there was back when I was working on the street department in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. But I'd tell them, you have to make sure you apply yourself. First of all, you have to understand it's not a walk in the park. You've got either the freedom of someone in your hands or maybe the welfare of someone in your hands. So you've got to do it the best of your ability. You have to be professional. You have to do it effectively because the client's relying on you. And it isn't something that, it isn't whether or not you put a notch on your belt or anything like that. It's whether or not the truth is obtained and justice is served. And that's what you've got to look for.
Well, the most important advice is read. Read as much as you can, as often as you can, and preferably go back 5 years and start reading when you should have, because when you get up to be too much older, you won't have time to read, obviously to study hard. People ask, what should I study as preparation for law school when I get to college? Everything. I envy people with mathematical abilities. The law is becoming more empirical. I see that in our labor dispute cases, employment discrimination. I barely got through high school algebra. I envy anybody who has mathematical ability. It's tremendously important. And in some of these economics cases, we have economists, when they call their experts in, they speak a language all of their own. English, being able to read and write English in a highly sophisticated but yet clear manner. Learn how to read and write, basically. It goes back to the old 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic.
I tell him to learn whatever he can, to work hard, study hard, and be prepared. And that's a short version.
Well, if they're thinking of doing anything at all related to the law, or for that matter, anything, don't do as I do, and that is concentrate and get as many English classes as you can. Grammar is so important, and English courses are so important, and literature is so important. And unfortunately, I feel that I cheated myself by not being a better English student in my grade school, high school, and college years. So I told my kids that, and I tell anybody who will listen to me, take as many English courses as you can. They're not as much fun, but they'll do you more good in later years. just keep an open mind, be yourself, do everything you can to not take yourself too seriously, because life is serious enough. It's just, I'm trying to, here again, weakness in English. I just think there's so many things that a kid can do, but most important, number one rule, of course, is keep your nose clean. Stay away from law violations, and pick your friends. My mother used to talk about water seeking its own level, and that is true. Be careful who your friends are, and if your friends are doing things that you know aren't right, don't follow. Don't be just part of the crowd. Be yourself for all the right reasons.